Hello everyone, this is the video from RED Group of Schools for class 7th, subject Science. In this video we are going to discuss about the modes of nutrition in plants other than the autotrophic mode of nutrition and some symbiotic relationship and how nutrients are replenished in soil. So before starting our today's topic, let us recapitulate the previous video's topic what we have already discussed about this chapter. In the previous video we have done the process of photosynthesis, that how autotrophs do the process of photosynthesis. Then we have discussed that significance of photosynthesis, that how it is useful for the plants, for other animals. After that we have discussed the fixation of nitrogen, that how plants fix the nitrogen for their use. Now the objectives what we are going to discuss today in this topic. In this topic we are going to first discuss about the parasitic nutrition, then about the insectivorous plants, then saprotrophic nutrition, saprotrophs, then replenishment of nutrients in the soil. So as we all know that heterotrophic nutrition means the organisms or those who depend on other organisms, other you can say the plants or animals for their own food. So they are not able to prepare their food, so they are dependent on other organisms. So these organisms are directly or indirectly depend on other organisms, and here we are discussing about the plants. So first of all we are going to discuss about the parasitic plants. What are parasitic? So before going to this kind of nutrition, that what is parasitic plants, I am telling you two things in this. One is host and other is the parasite. Clear? And the organism from which a parasite derives its nutrition, means taking its nutrients, is the host, and the parasite who is living on that host is known as parasite. It means the plants, or you can say the organisms that live in or on the body of other organisms and derives their nutrient from other organisms. Derive means they are taking their nutrition from the host. So this is a kind of nutrition. Now how they are taking the nutrients from other organism? They have a special root-like structure called hostoria, which penetrate the stem into the stem of the plant and then take the valuable nutrients whichever they require. The parasite plants just derive the nutrients from this special kind of structure from other plants. Now see the picture. This is the structure of hostoria, and they penetrate in the stem of the other plant or other organism and take their nutrition. Clear? Now parasites are divided into two categories. That one is total parasite, means they are totally dependent on the other organism, and some are partially parasites which are dependent partially on other organism. So first of all we are going to discuss about the total parasite. Total parasite means they are, as I told you, they are completely dependent on the other organisms or their host for the nutrition. As they don't have any green leaves, so they are not able to prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, so they are totally dependent on the other organisms. And if I talk about the examples of the total parasites are Cuscuta plant and Rafflesia. Observe the pictures. One, this flower is which flower? Rafflesia. Clear? It is the largest flower. I hope all of you know that Rafflesia is the largest flower in the world. And it is, the next is mistletoe. this is this is a partial parasite. This is not a total parasite. Rafflesia is a total parasite, and because it does not have the green leaves, and it completely depends on the other organisms for the process of you can say taking the nutrients, or they derive the important nutrients from the other plants. And the next is partial parasite plants. Partial parasite means they are able to do photosynthesis only, but they also need other nutrients also, so they are dependent on the other organisms for their you can say for the requirement or for the fulfillment of water and minerals. So they take the nutrients, minerals and water from the other plants. So that's why we are saying they are the partial parasitic plants. Now the insectivorous plants, as the name suggests, it is discussing about the insects. It means the plant must be, you can say, taking nutrients from the insects. So these plants, these are the special kind of plants, and they take nutrition from insects. How? They feed on insects and green and synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Means they are green in color. Clear? They are doing photosynthesis also, but they are feeding on insects also. Why? Because these plants are nitrogen deficient. Deficient means they are not getting proper nitrogen from the environment or from the soil also. So they are fulfilling the requirement of the nitrogen from these insects. So they use the nitrogen nutrition obtained from insect and supplement this to the whole plant and prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. Now the thing comes, which plants are the insectivorous plants? Just look at the picture plant. In the cartoons you must have seen this plant. What will happen? In this leaf, when insect will come this side, it will get closed. Clear? So now you can say that insect is trapped by the plant. So it is known as pitcher plant. Why it is known as pitcher plant? Because it's you can say the leaf is like a pitcher. Clear? Next is Venus fly trap. This is also you must have seen in the, you can say, the cartoon movies. What will happen? The same, around the leaves, if insect comes, it will close down and trap the insect. So how they are doing this nutrition? They are taking nutrition from the you can say the insects. They are trapping the insects. Next is saprotrophs. What are saprotrophs? It is written in the slide that the organisms that obtain their nutrition from non-living organic matter, usually dead and decaying matter. How? After the death of an organism, the bacteria present in the environment, they feed on that dead bodies and decompose it and decay it. Clear? So these saprotrophs obtain their nutrition from these dead and decaying organisms, and the organisms, those who do this kind of nutrition, is known as saprotrophic nutrition. And if I will talk about the you can say the organisms which will do the saprotrophic nutrition are the fungi and the bacteria. Clear? Fungi also obtain their nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter. Just look at the picture. Clear? And they cover the organism and take the nutrition. Like have you ever seen any bread that is spoiled bread? They have a greenish patchy like structure. That what is this? That is fungi. Clear? And the mushrooms, they also feed on the dead and decaying matter. Now, what is the, you can say, what is the benefit of fungi? If I will talk about the benefits, some fungi are edible. Edible means they are used as a vegetables because they are rich in vitamins. So we are using it for our, you can say, taking definitely we are taking nutrition from that because they are rich in vitamins. After that, you must have heard about the yeast. In the baking industry, yeast is used. Brewing industries, yeast is used. Clear? And if I will talk about the harmful activities, or you can say the why they are harmful for us, they are spoiling our food. As I given you the example of bread, at that time the bread is spoiled. Sometimes you have observed this fungi on your leather goods, like your leather shoes. If you will put them in the moist condition, you will see that greenish layer, the fibers on your shoes. So what is this? That is fungi. Clear? After that, bacteria also do the saprotrophic mode of nutrition. They obtain their food from the dead and the decaying organic matter, as I told you. They feed on the, you can say, the waste product of the animals, the spoiled vegetables, spoiled fruits. So they are feeding on the dead and decaying matter. Clear? So it is all about that. We have discussed about the parasitic, then insectivorous, then saprotrophic nutrition. At last we are going to discuss, if I will talk about the modes of nutrition, at last we are going to discuss about the symbiosis. What is symbiosis? When two organisms live together, means two organisms, they are living together, they are sharing their food, they are sharing their shelter. So this association is known as symbiotic relationship or symbiosis. Clear? It means what? The two organisms, they are living together. Clear? For the requirement, for the fulfillment of their nutrition. Clear? Look at this. This is mycorrhiza. It is also show the symbiotic association, how they are living in the roots of the trees. Why? Because tree is doing the process of photosynthesis and this fungi is living on the trees for the fulfillment of their nutrition. Clear? So it is this is lichen. In the picture you can see this is lichen. What is lichen? I hope you have learnt in the chapter acid, base and salts. Lichen, what is lichen? It is a natural indicator and it is showing a symbiotic relationship. How it is showing a symbiotic relationship? Algae and fungi, both are living together and they are sharing their shelter, nutrition, water, minerals. Clear? So they both are living together, so that's why we are saying them a lichen. If someone will ask you that what are the lichens, lichens are the organisms which do the symbiotic relationship. How? When algae and fungi both are living together. Clear? So the last topic of this chapter is replenishment of nutrients in soil. As we know, plant is also growing day by day. It's also show the growth. So for the growth, they require nutrients. Clear? So plants require nutrients for their growth. How they get their nutrients? They absorb the nutrients from the soil. Clear? But when you continue grow the crops on the same field, that field become deficient in some nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium. So plants require these nutrients for the growth, but you are growing the plant or crop again and again on the same land, and that land become deficient of these nutrients. For the you can say fulfill the requirement of these nutrients, we add manure and fertilizers to the crop. you must have heard about the fertilizers and the manures. We are adding them to the crop to increase the fertility of the soil. Means the production of the crop should be good after adding this, and we would get the more production, manures and fertilizers, and from to increase the fertility of the you can say the soil. Now the second thing is that farmers may grow leguminous crops to replenish the nitrogen in the soil. In the earlier video we have discussed about the nitrogen fixation of the plants, how they are fixing their nitrogen by the help of rhizobium bacteria, which helping them for the fixation of nitrogen in the soil. So soil get the nutrients, nitrogen from the soil through this process, that rhizobium are helping them in the process of fulfillment of that nitrogen product. Clear? So what is how they are replenishing means they are getting nutrients by the adding manures and the fertilizers, then by using the leguminous crops, that as the rhizobium bacteria present in the roots of the leguminous crops. And which crops you can say the leguminous crops? The peas and the beans, they are known as the leguminous crops. So it is all about your chapter nutrition in plants. Thank you for watching this video.